What's up, people? It's Nate Girl 30 here, and this is my Power Rankings video for June 30th. Now, let's get started with number 25. Number 25 is Psycho Sid. Well, with the 1,000th episode pretty much coming up pretty soon, and the fact that Psycho Sid really did have a great match with Heath Slater, even though Heath Slater got annihilated, this puts Psycho Sid at number 25. Now, Antonio Cesaro pretty much remains stagnant at number 24. Practically because of what's going to happen on Tuesday for the a Great American Bash. The Great American Bash is actually going to have on SmackDown on Tuesday live, which is something I'm really looking forward to, seeing how the Tay Long happens to be the GM. But he is actually going to be in a match with Layla and the Great Khali, with also having Oksana as his tag team partner. So that pretty much has him at number 25. Tyson Kidd at number 23. He was not on previously, but he is on there now, pretty much because he is actually one of the Money in the Bank participants, and he was triumphant in that match, and he qualifies for the World Heavyweight Championship contract after defeating Jack Swagger. So that puts him at number 23. Okay. They have gone down from number 20 to number 22, Epico and Primo, and it's pretty much because of their loss, a loss against one of the primetime players. Epico actually had a match on Superstars against Darren Young, and he lost on Superstars. So that took both of them down from 20 to 22, and that happens to be a huge jump. And I wouldn't be surprised if they actually went down 2 spots, pretty much because of the fact they haven't really had a great winning streak as of late, and they haven't been seen on television either. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was another reason why they dropped 2 spots. But moving on to number 21. Chris Jericho is number 21. He was not on previously, but I guess because now that he made his announcement and the fact that he's in the WWE contract Money in the Bank ladder match, this puts him at the number 21 ranking. And seeing how he's a legend, that actually helps as well. Moving on to number 20. Now, honestly, I'm kind of shocked that he's actually jumped up 3 spots, but he's at 3 spots. He went up 3 spots to number 20. I'm talking about Tensai, not Lord Tensai. They dropped the Lord, which is good, and they just kept him Tensai. But he beat Justin Gabriel to become one of the qualifying, one of the contenders for the Money in the Bank World Heavyweight Championship contract match after beating Justin Gabriel in that qualifying match. So that bumped him up from 23 to 20. And I guess because maybe it's more in his favor for him to actually win. I don't know. But honestly, I think that 3 spots is a little bit too much. But then the fact that he has been dominant. He has pretty much lost maybe a few matches, I think. But I still don't think he should have jumped 3 spots. I think he should have jumped at least 1. But I'm not the people doing this list. But anyway, moving on from there. Sin Cara dropped from 18 to 19, which shocks me because of the fact that he has not really been in the ring because of his injury. So he's dropped only 1 spot. Maybe popularity contest? Who knows? But anyway, moving on from there. Cody Rhodes went from 17 to 18, pretty much because of his major loss in the qualifying match. That he actually was him and David Otunga versus Christian and Santino Marella, and unfortunately he lost that match, and it was pretty much one of the biggest matches of that night, and in fact he lost it, dropped him 1 spot. Yeah, but anyway, moving on from there. Damien Sandow went to 2 spots, and this makes sense for me. This really makes sense to me because Damien Sandow has been dominant in all of his matches, and not only that, he actually won his qualifying match for the Money in the Bank contract for the World Heavyweight Championship. So that bumped him up from 19 to 17. Now that makes sense to me. Moving on to number 16 is Dolph Ziggler. He went from 15 to 16, and it's pretty much because of his loss at the Triple Threat match on Friday Night SmackDown between him, Alberto Del Rio, and Sheamus. So it's a shame that he lost that match, but he ended up dropping 1 spot from losing such a major match. I guess if that kind of makes sense. I don't know. I thought he would drop 2, but that's just me. The primetime players went up from 16 to 15. Now, since Darren Young won over Primo on Superstars, they actually bumped up 1 spot. He went from 16 to 15 this week. Moving on, sadly enough, the Funkasaurus has dropped 3 spots from 11 to 14, and that's pretty much because of the fact that he's constantly getting destroyed by the Big Show. I mean, you think that this feud was gonna start to beef up. He was gonna probably beat the Big Show. The Big Show beat on him, and then start beefing something up. But no, he gets dominated every single night by the Big Show, which is a shame. And also beats his losing streak. So I mean, it beats his winning streak. So that actually does make me sad that that actually happened. But the Funkasaurus dropped from number 11 to 4. I mean to 14, 3 spots. That's a pretty huge drop. AJ went up from 14 to 13. Makes sense because AJ is becoming a lot more involved in the Daniel Bryan CM Punk storyline, and also the fact that she's now the special guest referee. That pretty much bumped her up 1 spot. And also the fact she's getting a lot more airtime than any other Divas that's been out there. Even the Divas Champion. And speaking of Divas Champion, the Divas Champion is at a stagnant 12. She has not changed. She's still at 12. Which is sad. I guess because she's a Divas Champion, which makes sense for her to actually stay at that point. But it's sad that she is actually not getting as much airtime as AJ. But anyway, she's at number 12 this week. Moving up, and I have to start watching Superstars because it will make more sense to me after reading this list. Kofi Kingston beat Michael McGillicuddy all Superstars for the Booming Truth to go up 2 points from 13 to 11. I have to start watching Superstars in order for this to make sense to me. At number 10, shocking enough to have this guy number 10, is Ryback. Ryback has had probably a mediocre premiere and a mediocre match after match after match. It's getting stale and boring, but this guy's at number 10, and I guess because of how destructive he looks. Sure. Okay, let's put it this way. I have this deodorant right here. And yeah, I randomly have deodorant, but let's put it this way. Imagine me that's bigger than this deodorant. Imagine this being my opponent. And then imagine, I don't know, this pen here being my opponent. So, yeah. Seriously, I'm Ryback compared to those two things. Those are his opponents. His opponents are weak punks. And then you have this big, giant, massive of a man beating him down. How can that make anybody powerful? But anyway, that's another rant for another time, and I'm going to do that later on. But anyway, moving on to number 9 is Alberto Del Rio after his loss for the triple threat match. Unfortunately, he went from number 7 to number 9, and that's pretty much because of the fact he has not been winning as much, and he lost his triple threat match. So that put him down 2 spots to number 9. Number 8, going up from number 9 to number 8 is Santino Marella. Makes sense because he's won his qualifying match with Christian, who is actually at number 7 as well, for the World Heavyweight Championship title. So these guys got bumped up 1 spot, both of them. Christian to 7 and Santino Marella to 8. Moving on to number 6 is Kane. Kane dropped twice. He dropped 2 ranks from number 4 to number 6. And I guess because of the fact that he lost his elimination match on Raw, even though the fact that he's actually in the Money in the Bank match, he automatically got put in there because of the fact that he's actually champion, and because he beat Heath Slater. Who cares about Heath Slater? He's like pretty much a peon. He lost his elimination match on the Raw Super Show, so that pretty much knocked him down 2 spots. Talking about number 5, shocking enough, and a lot of Cena haters are going to rejoice. John Cena is at number 5 this week. Pretty much because of the fact that the Big Show constantly keeps annihilating him at every turn, and his match that he had with Chris Jericho did not go over cleanly. He still got annihilated, and he's constantly being annihilated by everybody. And honestly, that dropped him 4 spots. He went from number 1 to number 5. That is a huge drop. But moving on to number 4 is CM Punk. CM Punk lost his triple threat match that he had because of AJ. And the fact that he actually had that loss is the reason why he's at number 4 this week. But it's going to probably go up from there, especially at Money in the Bank when he keeps the title. Who knows what's going to happen? He may or may not lose it. The Big Show is at number 3. The guy is a dominant heel. He's not as dominant as Mark Henry, mind you. But as for the last few weeks that we've seen him on Raw, he has been very, very dominant. He left that steel cage match like a boss. And the fact that he didn't even care, the fact that John Laurinaitis got fired, he is definitely starting to become a much better heel, in my opinion. He's still kind of 50-50 with me. Sometimes he explains himself, sometimes he doesn't. But regardless of that, he has been dominating John Cena right and left. He's been dominating anybody that comes in his way. The guy deserves to be at number 3. Moving on to number 2 is Daniel Bryan. Not only did Daniel Bryan win his triple threat elimination match, he's actually becoming a lot more seen on TV because of the whole AJ storyline. The fact that AJ is a part of his feud between him and CM Punk, even though I really don't think they're feuding anymore. I think it's just all about AJ. But regardless of that, he has been seen a lot more, and the fact that he had a lot more segments than usual, especially more than CM Punk, which is shocking enough. CM Punk has been the backburner and he's been really quiet, which pretty much makes sense why he's at his spot at number 4. But honestly, Daniel Bryan has been a very dominant heel. That's one thing I can actually say about that. He has been a dominant heel, and I can definitely say that with him being more involved in the storyline puts him at number 2. Now, number 1, no shocker here. This guy has actually been pretty dominant, and also he's had a lot of moments with the mic, and I'm talking about Sheamus. Sheamus is number 1. He knocked John Cena from being number 1 to number 5. And now Sheamus happens to be number 1. He happens to be the World Heavyweight Champion. He happens to be pretty much on the mic in any way, shape, or form. He practically dethroned John Cena. And I know a lot of Sheamus fans will love to hear that. But who knows? How is it going to fare out after Money in the Bank? It may change. Things change every week. The power rankings actually come out the end of every week, starting on Saturday, the end of every week. So who knows? After Money in the Bank, of course, the power rankings are definitely going to change. How they're going to be next week, who knows? Stay tuned to Raw because that'll be live, and stay tuned to SmackDown for the Great American Bash because that will be live as well. This is the Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out, y'all. See you later.